Now tuning in to Earbud Media. Audio for everyone.
I know that we've mentioned this before, primarily like more years ago, but it is such a different space when we're recording when it is light out.
Yeah, we've been in the nighttime grind for a while
so
recently,
long.
and especially later than usual the last few weeks, especially for me because I'm 2 hours ahead of you. Or behind, whatever, time is fake.
Please
Time
don't get me
zones
started.
are not real. We're sticking to a midday situation for the foreseeable future on a weekend, might I add.
Not only does it feel very like this is part of my routine of like doing laundry, like it feels very productive.
Right. Yeah.
Which I appreciate.
Right. It gives me a task that I can always know I will achieve on a Saturday, which
Exactly.
anything else will not be done.
100%. I completely agree. It's very achievable. And
sure.
I feel like I don't need to rush, which is nice.
Yeah.
I will say the only downside is that there is something kind of like, there's something very beneficial to the dark, because it's like, oh yes, sickos, we're having sick thoughts at night.
Right. It sets the mood for sure.
Right. Whereas now we get to have our nasty little jokes and thoughts, but it's fucking bright as shit out.
Yeah. I don't know if like the daytime is ready for my 9 p.m. thoughts. You know what I mean?
Right.
Like,
Yeah, I don't know if the goofs really align with like 1 p.m. energy, but that's okay. I
you know what? We're
think I
going to
can work.
push through.
Yeah, new year, new me, new time slot.
Yeah. We're zhuzhing it up a little bit, okay? We're zhuzhing.
We are zhuzhing the garbage to make it look very approachable for you all.
Yeah, absolutely.
Welcome to Into the Zhuzh.
Yes.
We are here for you all.
Yeah,
We never
2022,
left.
baby.
We are slouched. We have beanies.
Stop it, I'm literally so slouched.
I'm
slouching so bad.
Over on the fucking dive bar. We're here, just spewing our thoughts to no one.
Yeah. Listen, some of us may be slowly and responsibly sipping on some weekend champagne.
Fuck yes.
Who can say?
I will say, as someone who does not drink,
Right.
The energy that I feel like I'm going into, not just today, but 2022, is
Right.
the TikTok of that person pulling up to McDonald's and it's like, can I have a large Sprite and 4 hash browns, please?
Yeah. Yes. That's exactly the energy. That's
It's
it.
just,
I want Sprite that's going to erode my insides all the way down.
But
and then,
hopefully,
but
like,
the hash
kickstart
browns
me.
will also, will ease it down, I think.
My personal belief is that there's nothing hash browns can't fix.
That's true. I think I would say potatoes in general, but I do think
Yes.
hash browns specifically are the most reliable of, yes, it's like 25 cents and it will make me infinitely
Yes.
happier.
100%. Speaking of which, how are you? Welcome to the new year. How are you doing?
Welcome.
I haven't spoken to you in years.
I haven't spoken to you since last year. Isn't that fucked up? I am doing fabulous. That's not
Whoa.
true. I'm fine. I'm here. I'm fine. We're feeling it. I watched fucking Miley Cyrus's New Year's special in which she sang with Brandy Carlisle, and I just like my soul like left my body, and I don't know if it's still there in here, but we're here. So that was great. Loved that. Very fun.
The amount of gays that got awoke like sleeper agents last
Literally.
was
It was like a
had to be
siren
beautiful.
song. Everyone was like, what? Excuse me. Hold on. What? That's not my happy thing, but it is something, if you want to watch it, it's very fun. Would recommend for some fun little vibes. Or just watch the Brandy Carlisle thing. Do whatever you want.
Yeah, either
Because
one.
that's important. But my happy thing, in retrospect, seems a little depressing, but it is something I've been watching that's been, very good for me and something I really enjoy. It's Station 11 on HBO.
I can't believe it's taken you this long to bring this up.
I know. Well, because here's the thing. If you're a long time I wouldn't say fan of the show, but if you're a longtime fan of me, I guess, you would know that, like, literally my first tattoo was the first line of this novel. So when I heard that, like, this was going to be a show, like a mini series, I was like, hold the fucking phone. Excuse me. That's my baby.
HBO was,
That's my
like,
boy.
Coming for your favorite book, like
Yeah,
your title.
not just my favorite book, but also like Gael Garcia Bernal, who is my boy. I love him. And also, what's her face? Happiest Season. She's so good. Not Case 2, but the other one. The Terminator.
Yeah. No, I got you. I know who you're
All of my
talking about.
faves. All of my faves, right? And I was like, and you know, the former repressed book YouTuber in me was like, the book was better T-shirt just like came back onto my body, and I was like,
Stop.
I'm gonna be insufferable for this. But turns out it's fucking great.
I have heard
And
nothing but great things.
Yeah, if you are unaware, it's also a lot. So it's because it's very clearly about a Newton situation, and it's much more prescient now than maybe it was in 2014 when the book came out. So it definitely like hits a little bit harder, perhaps. So if that's not your jam right now, totally fine. You don't have to watch right now. You can just do it when you're ready, or if you're never ready, that's fine. But it is about a Newton situation and also about theater and Shakespeare, and it's wild, but it's very good, and it's very much like a companion piece. You know, it's not like trying to be exactly every single frame of it, you know, which I appreciate. That's just like, yes, they're in like conversation with each other, and that's super cool. But it's fucking beautiful, and mostly set in Chicago, which is fun.
When I first heard about this adaptation, I was very excited because one of the first things that I feel like I associate with you is Station 11.
Yeah, the amount of people I have forced this book into their hands, being like,
Right.
just come on.
But then I also got very nervous, right? Because anytime that there's
Right.
an adaptation, it's like, when you are a lover of something like that, it's like you want it so bad, you imagine it all the time, but then you're very nervous because it's like, fuck, if this is bad, this is going to ruin me.
Right,
And
and
so
my whole brand is gone. It's tarnished.
Right, exactly.
I have nothing.
I'm going to have to pretend like this doesn't exist for the rest of my life.
Right.
And so to hear that it has received praise from you, I feel like is one of the highest compliments, because they need to use that review, I think.
Yeah.
Because
Yeah.
that is the highest scrutiny. And so that makes me very excited because I wasn't sure. And I wanted to get your thoughts on it first. And so that definitely,
It has my seal of approval so far. I think there's only a couple episodes left because it's a mini series or whatever, but it's very good. I'm very much enjoying it so far.
Amazing.
Yeah. How are you, my friend? How is your new year so far?
My new year is about 12 hours in.
Right. Fresh. We're fresh in the new year.
We are fresh, and so I have made this mistake before on this show of saying like, this year is going to be the best, or this year is the worst year, and then that was like a year into our show. When we was up. Hey, we weren't wrong.
Right, but we didn't know how bad it could get.
Yeah,
we were naive and innocent. Okay.
Yeah, we were on the first step going down, but I think I am approaching this year very similarly to how I did last year, which is that I am going in with very limited expectations, which is counter to how I've approached every new year. I get a lot of dopamine from New Year's. I love the goals. I love all of that new stuff. But I think because we are still very in the thick of it with the Newtons, I don't have the energy to be let down anymore. And so I am just stepping very quietly into things and how they are going. And so I am I'm here. I'm just here.
Yes. Yeah. And you know what? Sometimes that's all we can ask for.
Right. I'm gonna focus on, resting and going slow. Whereas I feel like what makes me very nervous about New Year's for a lot of folks is they're like, I want to do more and go fast. And I'm like,
Right.
I don't have the fucking energy
No.
anymore.
I just want to relax, okay?
Yeah. I don't know that I necessarily want to be booked and busy anymore, you know?
Yeah.
I think I just want to chill.
Yeah, absolutely.
Which brings me to my happy thing. I know we talked about this, which is why I'm very excited about it.
Yeah.
I consider it a dual happy thing because we do share one brain cell.
Mm-hmm.
I've had the great pleasure of watching a documentary over the past week. It is, of course, the Beanie Baby documentary.
Hell yeah, baby. Beanie Mania.
And this meant so much to me as someone who really was like too young for this.
Mm-hmm.
Like I was a kid who just wanted to play with the Beanie Babies.
Right.
And as is seen throughout this documentary, the mothers and the people in general who got very into this did not want to touch the Beanie Babies.
Right. No. It's like, these need to be pristine because they will be my fortune. This will be all of my kids' college funds. So don't touch it.
It's just so wild to see that because I always knew about it, but to see it in such a just to see, I think for me it was seeing the growth of the company.
Right.
And how kind of it became an MLM.
Okay, yeah, for real.
And this desperate need, right, for what started out as these like housewives wanting community, wanting something to do, and and having something to like feel a part of, and then it just became
this giant, overwhelming thing.
Yeah, where people were like having to like, they had to get those like bank armored cars to like deliver these to McDonald's. It's like, what are you talking about? What?
Just the baby ones too. It's like, what's going on?
Ones. Anyway,
it's so nuts too that like there's so many fun facts in there that are
my god,
so fascinating. But like the fact too that like early on they're like, we're not going to Toys R Us, we're not going to big box stores, we're just gonna like go to these like little mom and pop shops. And then like, but also on the double-edged sword of this becoming this huge massive thing that like everyone wants to get every single kind or whatever to pay for college or whatever,
right?
And it's like all these shops had to like put up these little signs being like, we don't have Beanie Babies, please leave
us alone,
go. We have nothing for you.
And I think what amazed me too, and I guess it wasn't really surprising, right? Because I've seen enough of this and I've to know, but like from the original, I think it was like 3 or 4 women that they had profiled.
Right.
They had, some of them had immensely studious backgrounds to the point where like they were using the yellow pages, had like figured out and deduced where the shipments were going. And it's like, y'all are so fucking smart. And this company, rather than investing in these women, are like, nah, we're just going to give you a cease and desist and like fuck off.
Right.
It's just wild, I guess, to see. My question for you was, were you a Beanie Baby? And were you ever told to like keep one in a glass case?
Okay, so I do have a story for this because I was also similarly young, so I was just like, oh, I'll play with them, whatever. I think like we had like maybe 2 or 3, like I don't remember which ones they were, but they were just like regular plushies and stuff. It wasn't like a sacred thing or whatever. But my sister, I remember very specifically, had a limited edition Britney Spears Beanie Baby in the glass little case. Like it came in it was pink and it had like Britney, I think, like embossed in the chest or something, like embroidered. And it was in like a little case. She took it out all the time, so I don't think it's pristine. I don't think it was like a thing that was like, this will be an asset to you later. That wasn't really translated, I suppose. But I remember that, so I hope she still has it because that thing was very iconic. Whoa. But yeah, I remember also too, one day I like passed by this like just like like someone recently, like a couple of years ago, this like laundry basket of just like shit outside of someone's like doorstep or whatever, because they're doing like construction or something, and they didn't want to take anything. So I'm like, this also could be I don't know if it's like trash, like street trash yet, or if it's just like someone just came out and is moving shit out. Like, I don't know what the deal was. But literally on the top of it was the fucking Princess Diana Beanie Baby. And I regret every day of my life not just swiping that. I think about it constantly.
That was... So I knew about that part going into it. Because, like, how could you not? And if they don't cover that in The Crown, it's a fucking missed opportunity, right?
Yeah, seriously.
But... just seeing that and that like every store had 12 like was totally wild. Yeah, I was also the kind of, I feel like I had definitely a couple of the beanie, the small ones, the like
the baby babies,
the baby babies, which was so funny, right? That they were like, yeah, we're only gonna sell at like mom and pop shops, like fuck Toys R Us, but then also we're gonna
also McDonald's
collabo with McDonald's. Because amazing. So those are the ones I definitely played with. I distinctly remember though, I was given a Beanie Baby when I was like 5 or 6. I think it was definitely around like 2001. So it was like in the thick of it, right? After apparently when they were like, we're shutting everything down.
Right.
I was given this bear. It was like blue and purple, and I looked it up after, or when I was watching the documentary, and it was like an Easter special bear.
Ooh, so it was like a very coveted.
Apparently, I looked it up and it was like, it's selling now for like $12. So I'm glad.
Okay,
that
you're right.
Worried about it, but I was given it, and they gave it to me in this like glass case, and they were like, "Don't touch it." And it's like, first of all, fuck you. Second
first of all, I'm gonna touch it.
I'm definitely gonna touch it.
If you tell me not to touch it, I will touch it.
But it was so pretty, and it was like blue and purple, and it was tie-dye, and it was like, I just want to fucking touch this bear.
Yeah. Please, don't take that away from me.
And the fact that I was told not to, it's like, well, I'm definitely gonna touch this bear.
So what I'm gonna do is touch it.
And I have no idea where it is now. I feel like we definitely got rid of it. And there was definitely a part of my life where I was like, whoa, what if I had kept it? Like, I got rich. And I had such I was so let down during the documentary when I looked it up, found it, and it's like, oh, it's selling for $12.
Great,
I
cool.
couldn't even fill my fucking car with gas. Anyways, so that was a joy. Especially because I know there are still folks who are like our age who are getting passed down all these Beanie Babies.
Right. Like, this will be worth millions of dollars. Just wait.
The fact that like Colleen was in it is like, let's bring this back, and it's like, let's not, please.
Yeah, the fact that she's like, well, maybe there'll be another wave and that'll be super sick for me and then we can all sell it. It's like, that's not gonna happen, Colleen. Please. It's not gonna happen. No, it's not. Sorry.
No. But
hate to break it to you. The bubble has burst.
Biggest fear is Beanie Baby NFTs.
Stop.
I'm so scared of it, Cody. You don't understand.
Yeah, it's totally coming though, right? Like,
it has to be, right?
Yeah.
That's what
gotta
I'm
co-opt,
afraid of.
like cash in on the same scarcity mindset, you know?
It's like that motherfucker who was supposed to go to jail for tax evasion and then didn't. Is like,
right.
You know, he's on a Patreon somewhere, just like spewing, just like,
right.
He's just fucking revving up.
Yeah.
And I'm so scared.
Yeah. Oh, God.
I don't want to see those things' eyes anymore. Like, they actually freak me out.
Yeah. I'm scared.
I'm so, because I know a couple of my friends who have kids. My fear is, like, if I gave a kid a Beanie Baby now, they'd be like, what do you do with it? Like, what is it? What does it do?
Right. Right, like what is the utility here?
Cool,
yeah.
Thanks. Like, anyway, I want to get one of those toys where like you crack it open and there's a dinosaur inside. Like,
right.
Anyways, we previewed this a little bit.
Yes.
We previewed some Batman news. It was more of the Prince last time.
Yes.
But we do have Batman news. Would you like to introduce this Batman news?
Absolutely. We got a hot new trailer, y'all. Holly's excited.
Batman news? What's your Batman news? What is it? Now
Holly's just so overwhelmed by the sexual chemistry between Robert Pattinson and Zoe Kravitz in this trailer.
Could you not, you know?
And who among us is immune to it? You know what I mean?
One.
No one. So this trailer focuses mainly, I would say, on their little relationship, which I love to see it. I'm a big fan. We see some big Batmobile moves, which I also love to see. I love to see it go vroom vroom across Chicago. I love to see it. I loved the
thunderclaps.
Yes, the thunderclaps were crucial. I also keep forgetting that Paul Dano is in this movie.
Same.
And so he makes his little appearance, which is wild because, like, I feel like up until this point, DC has kind of been like, the Riddler, don't worry about it. He'll be there, but we're not going to promote it at any capacity. Like, just focus on Selena Kyle. Just focus on Batman. Just focus on big car, vroom vroom. Let's ride.
Just focus on like, rain and car chases.
Right.
And as they said in their tweet, the bat and the cat.
The bat and the cat, yeah. But now we get a little bit of Paul Dano action up in here as Mr. Riddler. So we're just getting, we're trying, they're kind of, all the pieces are, yeah, it's very just fabulous Da Vinci Code ass moments. We love it. But yeah, the pieces are falling together. We're getting some more of this. Hopefully this movie comes out at some point.
Yeah, I'm, March 4th is pretty confident of that.
Quite soon, especially for a in theaters only situation.
Yeah, the fact that they're like only in theaters. Okay, sure.
Well, isn't it also because they're Warner Brothers? Won't they also do an HBO thing, or is that only specific titles for Warner Brothers? Because I remember that being a big thing.
Well, as you know, Cody.
Yes.
It's not a real movie.
Right.
It's not in theaters.
That's true. It doesn't exist if it's on your TV screen. So sorry. But yeah, that also may have been just the 2021 stuff. Maybe that's also why they pushed it to 2020. I mean, they've been pushing it for a while because of so many different reasons. But I think also maybe to like skirt out of that, like you have to do both HBO and in theaters, which like, you know, fucking do whatever you want, studio execs, like whatever.
But also no. But
also, I do want to see this Batman, and I don't want to die. So let's think about that.
I want to see this movie.
Yes,
because for so many reasons.
Right.
I need to see this movie because it is part of my job.
Right.
So, I'm giving you a fucking ultimatum. You either do a dual release.
Yeah.
Apparently, Holly agrees. Or you send me a fucking screener.
Yeah.
Either way, I'm going to watch this from my home because, hello, March 4th?
Yeah.
Pretty confident
That's
of
wild.
you.
And I will say, too, I don't usually shit on, because there's a lot of privileges to, like, being in the film whatever scene, I guess, and, like, having access to screeners and all that kind of shit. Like, there's a lot of privilege there, and I don't want to shit on it because, like, it's a very big thing, you know, and it's cool, and it's amazing. But fucking the early 2020 was great for that because most things, even big things, you could get as a screener, even if they're just like, you should come to a thing beforehand, before it's released to the public in a theater just to see it. And like, I get why people would want to do that to get a full experience of something, but not during a Little Newton. You know what I mean?
No.
But literally ever since like fucking this summer, there's been no access in that regard outside of in-person screenings that usually happen in the middle of a fucking workday.
Right.
Or just like in a later screening, but also with a bunch of other audience members that are like an early preview situation, which is also unsafe, especially a lot of these people have distancing in theaters like AMC and shit.
Yeah.
So, excuse me, sorry.
Especially because, so safety aside, which is very hard for me to separate at this moment, but we have time.
Right, because they're so intertwined.
I need to be able to pause. I need to be able to pause this because I'm going to have to...
Or subtitles or anything like that comes with home viewing.
I'm going to need to be able to pause this because I'm going to be screaming throughout.
Right. Yeah, this movie's going to take 4 hours to watch at home because there'll be so many pauses of screaming.
I'm going to, because every time that Rob, even in these trailers, has like been looking down with his little like fucking bangs, I will need to pause and cackle, and I can't do that when I'm in a theater and they don't give me a remote. So, and also I have seen I've been into a theater now once that was captioned. And the captions weren't accurate.
Yeah.
They weren't on time and they weren't accurate. And so, why, first of all, and second of all, that doesn't make for an effective viewing experience for me.
No.
If, like, the only way that I'm going to have to see this for my job is to have to risk my health, and then for an accessibility, the captioning on the screen is not accurate. Like, what?
Yeah, come on.
So, it is frustrating to me, and I know why the studio execs have said it. It's money.
Right.
But, like, can we please stop pretending like this is a thing that has to happen?
Right.
It's not. It doesn't need to.
No.
I just want to be able to fucking laugh in my own home.
Right.
and also, like, enjoy a movie without having 2-3 masks on.
Yeah,
because
seriously.
It gets uncomfortable, and I'd like to be able to watch it in the safety of my home.
Yeah. Is that too much to ask? Hollywood?
Apparently.
Jesus.
Hollywood?
And maybe not something that's $30. How about that?
Also $30? God.
Yeah. Jesus.
Yeah, exactly.
Anyway, this has been our corner of bitching about the film industry.
But for real, though.
Yeah.
It's kind of annoying.
Yeah.
So, we received an email that is less of a question and more so just exciting comment that I'm excited to share.
I love that.
This is an email from Danny.
Thank you, Danny.
Thank you, Danny. Titled Alice : Hallmark Christmas Conspiracy.
I'm already in. I'm already so invested.
I'm here. And she writes, "Hey fam, I don't know if you already talked about this a couple years ago when it came out, but this Christmas I was home for the holidays and was watching Hallmark Channel movies with my mom, as you do.
As you do.
When we started watching this movie called Christmas on My Mind. Set in the Northeast, it follows an art enthusiast, Lucy, as she has forgotten the last few years of her life and finds herself falling in love with her ex-fiancé from 2 years prior. Lucy is played by none other than the one Ashley Greene, aka Alice Cullen. Alice, when turned into a vampire, also lost her memory. I am convinced this movie is just the lost years of Alice Cullen before she became an official Cullen. Hallmark tried to pull a fast one, but they couldn't get past me. Happy holidays, and I hope the new year treats you well. Best, Danny."
Wow.
So apparently this is set in Portland, Maine.
Okay, so still a little on the nose, you know?
It's a little on the nose. And I did not know about this movie prior, so Danny, thank you for sending this.
Absolutely.
Because I feel like, you know, the way that Hallmark churns out their holiday movies, it's hard to catch up.
At a breakneck pace, yeah.
Right, they never stop. I love this red string that you have here, and I think
we love, you know, harmless conspiracy theories here at Into the Twilight. That is really one of our bread and butters, you know.
Yes, ones that are harmless, that do not, that are just for good goofs.
Right, exactly.
That are just here for fun. One of the things that I appreciate most about this is that Danny sent this email as soon as it came to her mind. And that was precisely on Christmas Day.
I love that. Listen, we got people working around the clock
right
around these parts, you know, and we appreciate that.
the work never stops, you know?
It never does, you know? We got emails in at like 3 a.m. on sometimes. We got people just like as soon as, like, just furiously typing from their iPhones.
Yes.
And sending it. We love it. So thank you for, I guess, spending your Christmas with us by sending us an email.
It warms my heart, and I appreciate it very much.
Absolutely. We love to see it.
When we last spoke, because notoriously we do not speak outside of this podcast.
That is known. Yep.
No. We were reading chapters 17 and 18 of Frostbite. We had a good little road trip to Spokane.
Yes. Yep.
Caught up with some of the Vampire Academy students who had left the ski resort. Which, why would
just
you
to
leave the
enjoy
ski
some
resort?
good old Auntie Anne's, you know?
Right.
Just to have some nice food court food.
Just being really sad in a mall food court. Rose had a Da Vinci moment in the basement of said mall. And
Crack the code.
Crack the code, and then they did get caught in a hostage situation at the end.
Yeah, and then there were guns, and everyone got loaded into a van. So
And that's kind of where we left off.
that's what.
So that's what I remember. Where
Yeah,
did we pick
no, I
up
think
here?
that's a perfect recap. We picked back up in the van proper. And Rose is feeling a little down bad, as you would, as being a hostage, you know.
If she was feeling anything less, I would be concerned.
Right. Well, she does have this interesting moment where she's like, you know what? If I, like, you know, got beat up or something and then had to surrender, like, that would maybe be a little more acceptable because I'm always out here fighting and grinding. But the fact that we just, like, went in quietly because they had guns, she's a little, feels a little indisposed in that regard of being like, fuck, man, like, this sucks. Like, this is not how I want to go out. You know, this is kind of not fun for me or anyone here, whatever.
I can't believe that, like, I didn't resist these big humans with
These
guns.
big humans with guns that were so scary.
Right.
So they're all just like kind of chilling in silence with like plastic little handcuffs, like little ties.
Yeah, like
Or
zip
whatever.
ties.
Like zip ties, yeah. Not
big
blindfolded at all, which is you know, something to
Choice.
note that they're just like, okay, we can just look outside the window and see where we are. Like, and also she does the thing where it's like, do you think they don't know the city of Spokane? It's like, do you know the city of Spokane? I don't think you'd really
Why would you?
I think it'd be pretty hard to like find your way back, perhaps, if you're unfamiliar. But like, I do like appreciate that you get to at least see it and get some sort of mental map.
Yeah.
Whatever. Sure, use that to
She
your
does
advantage.
start to notice, though, that, like, oh, maybe, why wouldn't they blindfold me? Oh, maybe it's because they don't have to worry about it. They don't think that I'll be coming back.
Right. Yeah. Interesting. Cool. Good to know.
Good
Just
thing
gonna keep
to
that.
kind of worry about.
That makes
for an
me
hour.
feel calm. Yeah, and just like great in silence and just like think about this. So like they're driving for like under an hour and they go into this like cul-de-sac situation with this little garage. These dudes are just like bringing them out. They got wild like furniture up in here. There's a big fish tank. There's some swords.
Here's what I'll say about Ferrero Rocher. Unlike
Yes.
Stephanie Meyer, unlike E.L. James, I don't think Ferrero Rocher likes traditional suburbia.
No,
Because
I
the
don't
way
think
that she
so.
describes this is like a cul-de-sac and a, quote, ordinary house is the ugliest thing she's ever seen.
Right, it's like repulsive to Rose.
Yes.
Yeah. And she does a little jab too, of being like, they even have those like stupid modern art pieces that are just like a line you could paint. Like I could do that kind of vibe. And it's like, Rose, that's not Rose. Come on. Like,
Ew, how gross.
yeah. And it's just like, ugh.
Thankfully, we
This-
don't have to worry about it for long, though, because it does get, what is it, like 10 Cloverfield Lane pretty quick.
Right, it gets really doomsday, for sure, situation up in here. Like, Eddie's freaking out, Mason's freaking out, this dude, this leader guy is, like, checking them all out and being like, sup? Like,
So,
you know,
hey, what's up?
let's restrain you guys. He's just yelling at people, barking orders, being like, what, you know, get these people fucking settled and figure out. And they're all just yelling at each other. And then they're just waiting, which is the worst thing for Rose, of being like, we're just gonna sit here in this creepy little house with these creepy dudes. And I don't know what's going on, and I'm scared.
It's truly, like, the worst.
Mm-hmm.
Because I think that Rose is so used to doing something, right?
Yes.
We're used to...
And being idle is, like, the worst thing in Rose's
Yeah.
mind, you know?
And she's used to, like, doing something, planning something, and yet here she is with folks who are very much, like, not prepared, in a room with no windows, no visible exits other than this, like, guard who's very much, like, doesn't seem like they're gonna get out. And now they're just waiting. And it's the worst possible option.
Right. And then she realizes that, like, there are Strigoi here, which is scary. Because they're like, okay, humans are working with the Strigoi. These guys, big bad.
Right.
I don't like anything that's going on here. We're probably gonna die, you know?
Yeah. When these two, like, finally come down the stairs and Rose, like, notices that, it is so... I felt so bad, first of all.
Right, because, like, there's, like, this dude and this woman that feels very fresh. Like a freshly turned.
Oh, yeah, like a newborn.
A new, which is just, like, she calls her, like, a lackey, kind of, like, always just, like, kind of following in there. And it's just, like, oh, it's, like, a unsettling dynamic, for sure.
Yes, exactly. The dynamic between these two is hilarious to me.
Yeah.
Which I appreciated because...
A little bit of levity is nice here in this very unsettling situation.
Because Elena, the newborn lackey, is hilarious. Very obviously is, like...
Just stumbling around.
Is stumbling around, has no idea what's going on. It is just, like, these are all teenagers. They're humans. They have blood. I want it. Like, why are we here?
Right.
And then Isaiah... Rose thinks is obviously, like, older.
Yeah.
And is a Strigoi, which is scary. But doesn't immediately realize that he is, like, thousands of years old.
Right, like, very, very old.
Like, forever old, and...
knows everything about all their histories and stuff. And it's like, oh, I know your great-great-great-great-great-grandparents or whatever. They were good people. It's like, oh, God.
Oh, God, yeah, like, when he says that stuff about Christian's parents, I could definitely tell that Rose is like, well, fuck. Like, we're
fucked. We're toast.
Yeah. We had no idea what we were getting ourselves into.
Right.
Especially because this ends up being really, like, not like, they could have just killed all 5 of them really quickly.
Yeah.
But the fact that they're not is scarier.
Right. Because he does this, like, little jigsaw kind of voice of being like...
It's literally a saw, yeah.
It's like a saw trap. And he's like, you know... one of you will probably make it out of here, but it's really up to you how you want to die, like, how well you behave, like, who you want to sacrifice or not sacrifice. Like, it's really up to you guys. Not in this compromising situation. Like, you got this. It's all up to you, and if you're, like, good boys and girls, you know? It's just like...
Yeah, like, you can get out of here. You just have to kill each other first.
Right.
Like,
and that's,
hello?
you know, you've entered my riddles 3, and you have to, like, do my fun little game.
Oh, and
then
also,
maybe you'll
like,
see
my
freedom.
version of you getting out of here is that you will become Strigoi. So
Right. So, you know, you gotta just choose which one you think will be best for you. Otherwise, you're fucking toast, you know?
Yeah.
Yeah, and then they're doing this whole, like, feeding situation.
Yeah. Which I can definitely tell, like, very much at the beginning, right? Because it's been less than a day. It's been maybe a couple hours.
Right.
Christian is still very snarky.
Yeah, and still trying to be like, I got this. Like, you're never gonna turn any of us. Like...
Rose, very snarky. And I think that it is... Ferrero Rocher does a very good job of making it clear that, like, the 2 of them especially are incredibly scared.
Yes.
like palpably scared, but are still like, I'm gonna pretend like I don't give a shit. Which I appreciated. The problem obviously comes in when it goes on for days. And I think that the Ferrero Rocher mentions it right, that like the Moroi of Mia and Christian, without water, human food, or blood, are gonna like not last long.
Right.
And then the Guardians, the like, not even, the Rose and then Eddie, Rip, and Mason need sustenance of some kind, right? Because they're more like they don't need blood, but they need sustenance because they're going to be struggling,
right? But they're not as like weak and frail without like, and the same with the Moroi would be, because they're very fragile and they need a little bit of extra stuff's going on. But yeah, like Rose volunteers of being like, if you want to suck any of our fucking blood, do it for me. Like, I'll do it. It's kind of a turn on for me, and it's kind of captive situation. It's kind of hot. Like, don't worry about it. And he's just like, nope, you're asking too, you want it too bad. Like, nope, absolutely not. I'm gonna fuck over all of your friends first before I even think about getting to you.
Yeah, I'm gonna do it to poor innocent Eddie.
Yeah.
And do the strongest compulsion you've ever seen in your life.
Yeah. How about that? That's cool with everyone? We're all good with that?
And that way, the two people in quotation marks that feed off of blood can just watch one of their friends have their blood sucked for several days on end.
Yeah, super cool.
And
not
get
traumatic.
More and more traumatized, but also like ravenous.
Right? Yes, yeah, totally.
Ugh, gross.
Yeah. Ugh.
It's honestly like not only fucked up, but it's very Jigsaw. Like, it's...
Yes!
This is such a different kind of chapter. Like, it's such a turn from what we've read so far. And I'm like, damn, Ferrero Rocher, like, do you write horror? Like, you're kind of good at this.
Yeah, like, I am spooked. I'm shaking in my boots right now.
I hate it. Especially because, like, the chapter 20 really is not good.
No, because we're feeling the effects of you know, Mia and Christian being like fully out of it, you know, a little loopy, a little scared and ravenous, and then also Rose and everyone sort of feeling, to a lesser extent, that still primal, like, oh god, we only like get out for bathroom breaks and they're embarrassing and they don't even give us food or water, like we're starving out here. Right. Everything's down bad, you know, it's not great.
Like, they're
not sleeping, like, you know,
it seems like they're in like fluorescent rooms, right? Their hands are still bound. So I think Rose mentions that she's starting to like nod off, but it's not just the starvation and the dehydration, but it's also the exhaustion, right? So
full body exhaustion, yeah.
Right. So it's torture in a lot of different ways. But it also gets fucked when, like, I think she says on like the second day that she was starting to like dream when she nods off. Yeah. And it finally she finally confirms what we had thought originally about Rose's dreams.
We get the connections, baby, because she nods to a dream. She's on a little beach in Oregon, and look who it is. It's Adrian.
So, first of all, Ferrero Rocher. Ferrero Rocher, hi, hello.
Hi.
Hi. You have mentioned the Pacific Northwest a couple of times now. Specifically in this context, you are saying that the Oregon coast is sunny, sandy, and warm. Can I ask where that is? Where?
Right, yeah. Because I think that's a 0 out of 3.
Because specifically in 2006, when we had climate change to a lesser degree, that was really hard to find. You gotta walk to a very specific part of the Oregon coast to find sand on the beach.
Yeah, and at the bare minimum.
Just oops all rocks. Like,
yep.
Because there's some, but most of the time, no.
Mm-hmm.
And sun and sand and warm, no.
Yeah.
Sounds like a dream, not real.
Yeah. And so Adrian's here, and he's like, "Oh hey, welcome back. We've met in our little
your dream.
We've met again in our little fun dreamscapes. And you still have your cool little like pendant, eye pendant, and your belly button, and your fictional belly button piercing that only exists in your dreams.
Yeah.
Welcome back." And she's just like, "This is weird. So this must be your dream? Is this my dream?" And he's like, "It's both of our dreams, baby." And she's like, "That doesn't make any fucking sense, Adrian. What are you talking about?"
Dreams are, like, weird. But, Adrian, you're saying some pretty whack shit right now.
Yeah, like, I know dreams usually go a certain kind of way. And it's, you know, I have to, like, spend some disbelief up in here. But this feels weird.
Right.
Even as far as dream standards go. So what the fuck is going on?
Yeah. And
he's just like, "Yeah, I don't know, man. Like, you are very specific. You're shrouded in darkness. There's something, like, there's a lot of stuff I can't tell you. But, like,
let's talk more
here.
about how everyone else has light around them, Rose.
Right, and that you are just so full of, like, tar and darkness and shadows." And it's like, God, these two are these interactions between the two are so much. And Rose is already so out of it. They're so intense, and Rose is clearly not in a state of mind to really be diving deep into any of this other whack shit that's going on.
Absolutely.
You know? And they're just talking about, like, "Oh, where are you? You know, like, were you in the real world? Whatever." And then, like, the dream just, like, dissipates and fades away. Oh, yeah. He's like, "God damn it."
To, like, become a glimmer. He's like, "Goodbye."
Yeah, exactly. Just like, "Ed, you'll figure it out. It'll make sense to you later. Bye." Like,
you need to insert 15 more cents for me to stay in your dream longer. Goodbye.
Right. If you want more of my my predictions and my vast knowledge, you're gonna have to pay the toll. Okay.
Right. So. Yeah. Especially because she later on will, like, try to get back into that dream and it doesn't work. And that has to, like, Rose is already going through a lot. Can she just...
Yeah, just have a second, please. A humble dream. A simple, regular dream.
Can someone just not be asking her to do stuff at all times? Can she just have a nice dream for once?
Yeah.
Anyways, I am definitely feeling for Christian at this moment in time. And Mia, obviously.
Yeah. Mia's going through it for sure.
Mia's definitely going through it. Christian is also going through it, but he's pretending like he's stronger and fine.
Right. He's like, "I'm good. I've never been better. Right now, I got this. You guys don't even have to worry. I am in control. And I'm not breaking on the inside. Always."
It is unfortunate how entertaining Isaiah seems to find all of these people. Because he's like, "Wow, like, all of you keep volunteering instead of Eddie. Like, you're all just Spartacus, aren't you?"
Right, exactly. It's like, you all just want this so bad, and poor Eddie just keeps getting the fucking ring.
He is, and it's awful because Isaiah is, like, living off the fact that everyone keeps volunteering and, like, wanting to be used instead of Eddie. But now, unfortunately, as Rose kind of finds out, like, Eddie wants it.
Yeah.
Because Isaiah was using so much compulsion, but now, now Eddie is addicted to the bites, which is
because even still, the way that, like, Rose, because Rose never gets bitten, at least at this point, but it's just like there's a lot of, like, fake outs, I guess, of him being like, "Let me just lean in and see how much you want it," kind of vibe. And the way she describes it is, like, intoxicating, right? Because obviously we know she's done it before and, like, has this experience with it, but she's like, that's just with a Moroi, but with, like, a Strigoi, that shit would probably be on another level of drugs, you know, like a totally different stage of consciousness. And that's why Eddie's, like, so down bad, because he's like, "Oh, it is kind of, don't worry, like, I got it, it's okay, I'll be fine," you know. And it's just like, oh man, like, down bad.
It's not good. It also is not good that, like, it has been enough time that Christian and Mia have gone without human food or water, as well as without the good slurp.
That good juice.
That they are now looking at Mason and Rose and are like, you know, like a couple days ago, I was like, I would never bite my friends. But now
I do kind of need it.
Now I can hear your heartbeat, and that is not good. So
yeah, it's driving me up the wall, frankly. So
right, which is rough. So
yeah.
One thing I did find interesting though is like when Rose does kind of like fall back asleep, she wasn't able to go see Adrian, but she was able to get back into Lissa's head, which I thought was cool.
Right, yeah, just like a little swoop in there, which is nice because we kind of get more of the Lissa POV and Alyssa Adrian.
Yeah. Because the last time that we saw Lissa, Dimitri was like, tell me where they are. And she was like, dude, I literally don't.
Yeah,
I don't know
where
they are because I don't know.
Yeah, it's like they just left without me, and I thought they were going to a party without me or something. Yeah. I'm truly out of my woods here, okay? Yeah. So I'm not helpful. And she's just like
down bad.
So, and just like, you know, what's the temperature? What's going on? Is everything gonna be okay? I'm scared. You know, this like talking about like energies and auras.
Oh yeah, because Adrian's like, so the reason, because we find out the reason why Adrian was so obsessed with her isn't because like he wants to like be with her, but it was more from a like kindred spirit. Like they both use spirit as their magic.
Yeah. So there's like a curiosity because there's so few of them, especially in this age, right?
Right.
And he just like had this proximity and being like, wait a minute, what's going on here? I know what you can do because I can do it too to some extent.
And I love this so much because like I feel really bad for Lissa, right? She's like, she's fucked up, like she's very nervous.
She probably thinks her friend's dead, you know?
Right. But Adrian comes in and is like, hey, so glad that we got to talk. Really glad that we both have the same magic. So like, what can you do? Right? You're like, you're Lissa.
Can you flex on me? Yeah.
Everyone knows who you are. Everyone knows about your bond babe situation. Like, so what all can you do? And she's like, I can do compulsion, like I can heal things. And he's like, yeah, like everyone can.
You're not special.
but like, what can you do with it though? And she's like, what the fuck are you talking about?
Yeah, what do you mean, Adrian? What?
And I feel so bad for her in this moment because she's been beating herself up for this for so long.
Yes, yeah,
and also thinking she was so alone and trying to figure this out with her meds, right? And Adrian comes in and is like, yeah, so like I'm perfect, I have an alcohol abuse problem, but
like other than that I have everything under control and like, I feel great.
Everything.
So that's a great way to live. And how about we just ease you off these meds and make you powerful again?
Yeah, just like go horseback riding, just like do yoga and meditation.
Right, if you just drink more water, I think you'll be fine. I think.
Yeah, then you'll be able to, like, go into Rose's dreams, too.
Right. Yeah. And wouldn't that be so fun? We can have little dream parties. We could just vibe.
And you can,
it'll be great.
Stay gold forever, Pony Boy. Like, it'll be fine.
Right. Yeah, exactly. And you won't have the crushing, like, mental turmoil that you've had for years, it seems. Right. That you've literally had to medicate
pills,
for.
Lissa.
No.
You're not depressed.
You just need to go on morning cigarettes. Walks. Yeah, and glow cigarettes. That's the secret right there.
Jesus Christ.
Yeah, it's like, Adrian. God.
Adrian, listen. You are making some points in the sense of her not beating herself up about this.
Right.
But maybe she can also use her meds too.
How about we don't, substitute one addiction for another, my friend? Yeah. How about we don't do that?
What if we don't discount her doctor? How about that?
How about we try to find healthy ways to do this, in a way that benefits everyone? Yeah.
And not when she is afraid for her boyfriend and her bond babe. And is
in the most vulnerable position. Yeah, just at least hear them or see them.
Yeah. So that's not great.
Yeah. Not a fan of that.
Where he's like, just come with me on this magic carpet. I'll teach you everything.
Yeah, and you'll be free of all of your ailments and your mental woes.
Ugh.
It's like, Adrian, stop it.
Adrian, no. Okay?
I don't like this. Not a
this
fan.
is not going to end well. All right?
No.
But that is unfortunately where we leave off here.
Yeah. So who knows? Things will probably get quite bad. I can only assume.
We're in the end game now. And frankly, friends, I don't know how they're going to get themselves out of this one.
Yeah.
Because
I don't know what's going to happen. Because it seems pretty bad.
Rose told Adrian was like, I'm in a house. There's no windows. I don't even think that she said Spokane.
Mm-hmm.
So, like, what? Okay. But, you know, we have a couple more chapters left of this book, so we'll see from there.
Yeah, absolutely.
We have some amazing patrons to thank as we go into this new year. Would you
Hell yeah.
like to start us off?
Absolutely. Thank you to Katie Black.
Ooh.
Oh.
Thank you to Kylie Minty.
Thank you to Alex Dornan.
Ooh.
Ooh.
Thank you to Carrie Goldberg.
Bow, 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 bow. Thank you to Mickey Meyer.
Ooh.
Ooh.
Thank you to Rebecca Cole.
Ow, ow. Yeah. Thank you to Mulch Gray. Mulch.
Thank you to our unofficial intern, Taylor Brown. Town.
Yes.
Yes.
Thank you to Jasmine Anastasia.
Ooh. Thank you to Cassandra Bomer.
Thank you to Megan Pattinson.
Ooh.
Ooh.
Thank you to Cassandra O'Shea.
O'Shea. Thank you to Alexandra Ozera.
Ooh.
Ooh.
Thank you to Aaron Weber.
Thank you to Clara Belikov.
Ooh.
Ooh.
Thank you to Katya Karp.
Thank you to Maddie Facinelli.
Ooh.
Ooh.
Thank you to Genevieve Morgan.
Thank you to Samara Rinaldi. Samara?
I'd love it if you told us.
Thank you. Samara? I will say both. Thank you to Samara Rinaldi. Just so we have a clean one. Ew.
Thank you to my mom, your mom, our mom,
Yes.
Kelly
Kelly Beck. Thank you to Sophia Salinger.
Ooh.
Oh.
Thank you to Laura 40.
Thank you to Abby Penn.
Ooh.
Ooh.
Thank you to Catherine Hathaway.
And last but not least, thank you to Dan Zeklos.
Ooh.
Ooh.
I found this fanfiction for you.
Hell yeah.
This is by the author Sparkling Twilight, and it is titled All I Want for Christmas Is You.
Nice.
The summary is, hello? Okay, the summary is, she just wants one thing for Christmas. 10 years after having her heart broken, Bella's created a new life for herself in New York. Will a chance encounter with a familiar face convince her it's time to finally come home for the holidays? And this was published December 10th of 2009.
Damn.
I know.
Okay.
So we are in chapter 1. 2 weeks later, Bella had arrived home to find a giant package sitting in front of her door. One look at the return address and she knew it was from Alice. When she'd opened it, she found a simple paper folded in half and containing a note written in her bubbly scrawl. Don't thank me, just wear it to the ball. It'll look spectacular on you. See you under the mistletoe, Alice. That's how she found herself 2 weeks later, arriving at the festively decorated banquet hall, wrapped in a shimmering wine-colored dress made of the softest silk that flowed over her skin like water. It was beautiful in its design, with a cowl neckline, fitted bodice that cinched in the back, and had champagne beaded lace trim at the waist. Stepping out of the limo that Alice had sent to retrieve her from the hotel just outside of Forks, she felt beautiful for the first time since he'd, that's italicized, told her she was breathtaking at her senior prom. He'd returned from college in Seattle just to escort her to the school function, and she was positive that night that he felt something for her that was more than friendship, just as she did for him, as she always had for him. And
Ooh.
I know.
Okay.
So there are over 8,000 words in this. So if you are looking for a little bit of a New Year's treat, that is there for you.
Yeah. Hell yeah.
Holly's very excited for some fan fiction.
Yeah, she's pro fan fiction. Yeah.
Read.
Joke's on you, the whole time she's been reading all the filth.
I didn't know that you knew how to read. Anyways, folks, I hope that you all have a great New Year with us and no one else.
Yes.
And fucking, enjoy yourself or whatever.
Fuck yeah. Yeah.
And as we say here in the Pacific Northwest,
get bit.
And you know what? Enjoy some whipped cream on us.
Ooh, get whipped cream.
Get whipped cream.
Nice. Very nice. Into the Twilight is an Earbud Media production. You can follow us on Twitter at Into the Twilight or on TikTok at Into the Twilight Show. You can find me at Cody Corral on Twitter and Allie at Alexandria Does. And you can support us on Patreon at patreon.com/Into the Twilight. We have merch, so much stuff. All those links are in the episode description. And make sure to rate and review us on your favorite podcast hosting platform. It really helps the show. Thanks. Bye.
You've been listening to Earbud Media Production. Earbud Media, audio for everyone.